By the way, thanks again to Sony Ericsson, Intel, and G-Skill. You guys rock. Down here at the bottom left is our Protoss player who got 4-gated last game. There he is, Haksu. And here's his opponent. Hopefully the advice that Tassadar gave him was very sage advice.
Hopefully.
There he is, the hand biter himself. No idea what's going on there. It's kind of cute though.
Like, took him off camera for a second to try to trick him and then put him back on camera.
Get out from behind your sign. The Wizard of Oz is discovered behind the cheerful.
And then
Controlling everything.
Pay no attention to the man behind the cheerful.
Yeah. Anyway, so just real quick, we were talking before about how often there's a reason for all of your gateway placements. We can see Sage, he actually put his gateway like right next to his Nexus. The reason why you do something like that is you actually save like a little bit of time. If your probe can make your buildings that closer to the minerals, then you actually save, 10, 15 minerals early on, because that's an amount of time that probe could be mining if it wasn't walking off to some extended portion of your base to build a building. So, a little follow-up to that we were talking about before. While we're waiting for this game to get started.
For Oz right now of his buildings allow him to see his entire main base, so there's nothing that can be hidden. Now, Oz's cybernetics core is actually about 10 seconds ahead of Sage's, so that, of course, does become important in some situations, having that warp get research out much faster.
That can actually make a huge difference.
And Oz has actually saved a full round of chrono energy. He actually did not use any chrono energy minus his first one by the looks of things. He's actually going to be 4-gating almost absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty certain it's going to be 4-gate here. Yeah, and we've seen that happen before, actually. I don't remember what match it was, but I remember casting a PvP, and I was like, that 10 seconds can actually make a difference. And then they both 4-gated, and one player had all 4 of their stalkers 10 seconds earlier and just won.
Yeah, man, that's how it is.
That's how it works in PvP if you do not have your gateway, your warp gate research.
Sage,
until 10 seconds afterwards.
Sage took second gas, only put 2 probes in it, and he took it at an extremely risky, quick moment. So
now, Oz actually took his second gas as well.
He did, and he's made a Twilight Council. He's going for a 3-gate Blink Stalker build. Okay,
so he's not actually 4-gating, despite the looks of it. Maybe because he got scouted pretty hard.
Well, yeah, if your opponent sees the chrono, it's going to be a pretty clear sign. And he also just wanted to get his warp gate research out ASAP. It's not an absolute tell that you're going to 4-gate, but it does make one wonder. Now, back in the base of Sage, he actually has gone up to 3 gates. Has not added any tech just yet, though. Twilight Council's finishing for Oz. He has a probe over there. Is he going to make a Dark Shrine? I think he is. Oh, he absolutely is.
He is.
There it is, the Dark Shrine. Oh, our observer avoided showing it to you guys. No, there it is.
There it is. Dark Shrine, and unfortunately for Oz, the Dark Shrine goes down at the exact same time as the robotics facility for Sage. So Sage, assuming he is smart at all, he's probably going to make an Observer first. Maybe an Immortal, but then an Observer. He's going to be able to beat these Dark Templar pretty easily.
Yeah, he should be pretty okay against them. It just depends on if he makes the Observer. He may skip it, or if he only makes one, he's still going to take a lot of damage from the Dark Templar. He has a Sentry, though.
Sure, it depends on where he
pays attention. If he sees with the Sentry that there is a Dark Shrine, he can use the Sentry to block the DTs out with force fields. It's very difficult to do, but is possible to do, and has been done many times before in the past.
Yep.
And that Robo is done. He is not yet making anything out of it.
Now Oz is going to expand off of this, so even if he doesn't do a ton of damage with this, as long as he doesn't waste a bunch of money by throwing away Dark Templar, then he's still going to be able to get a lead out of it.
Ooh, Oz actually... Sage actually canceled his Observer and made an Immortal, and so the Dark Shrine is finished now, and Blink is on the way, of course, right now as well for Oz, but he actually does have that up, and this DT is being warped in, and Sage actually did see it, so he's now going to have his Sentry prepared. Oh, he absolutely saw it.
Yeah, he definitely saw it. Putting those Zealots on the ramp to block, getting an Observer out next, chrono boosting it.
He actually preemptively force fields here, not sure whether or not he could see the Dark Templar. Now he can absolutely see it.
Yeah.
Making that Observer, Chrono boosting it, he should be completely fine here.
Yeah, beautiful response by Sage. Very well done. And that was so ghosty because it's not, he responded to the slight little shimmer. You can't actually see the warp in animation when a DT is warping in,
yeah,
but he saw the shimmer of it walking away from the pylon.
You can actually see it as it warps in. You can see like a slight blur as it's warping in, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's very hard to see, but he was checking for that with his...
It's the same like kind of veiled blur
yeah,
like when
basically.
the DT's walking?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we have another Immortal popping out for Sage. He's got the Robotic Support Bay. He's going to be able to make Colossi if he wants to, but is he going to want to? I mean, his opponent's going for Blink Stalkers now. He has 2 Immortals. He can make a Colossus if he chooses to, and he is going to make that choice. Right now, I'll give you guys some unit counts. For Oz, there's 1 Zealot, 1 Dark Templar, 4 Stalkers, and 3 Sentries. His opponent, Sage, has 6 Zealots, 2 Immortals, 4 Stalkers, and 1 Sentry. So the compositions here are pretty similar. Of course, this is going to allow some opportunities. Oz is taking the Nexus. It allows Sage to have a few opportunities for timing attacks with this Colossi, and I think that's most likely what we're going to see.
Yeah, those Colossi are really going to help out. And, I mean, Oz, he's going to have the expansion, but like you said, it's going to open up the opportunity for a timing attack. He could just go in right when that expansion is not quite paid for itself yet and have superior tech with the Colossus and the Immortals to boot. Yeah,
and he's actually just going to do it right now. This is a really nice timing. This is so smart.
And he queued up an Observer after that Colossus so that he can actually defend against DT counterattacks.
Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, and this is going to be almost impossible for Oz to hold. Actually canceling pylons yet, warping it at his natural, knowing that he doesn't want them to be there. He wants them to be in his main. He's actually going to take out this pylon as he moves out as well.
He actually wasn't even supply block, so he needs every bit of money right now for units to defend this attack. And he's actually going to go for a little bit of a counterattack.
Yeah, with some Blink Stalkers and a DT. Going for this counterattack. And nice Blink Micro against these Zealots.
And here comes the attack from Sage. The counterattack going really well for Oz, though. Oh, trying to pick off one of those mortals. Oh, he has to pick off Stalker instead. Here comes
Here we
the
go.
Stalkers.
The Colossus doing a ton of damage here. But the Colossus not being microed very well, now being microed. And Oz decides to go home with his Stalkers, but a DT in the main is doing nothing but damaging the shields of an Assimilator.
Oh no, that's horrible. The Observer isn't there anyway. He could kill off the probes, but he's not using it. Here he comes in, his army is cornered. He uses the force fields, but the Colossus can just walk over them. Counter force fields separating those Stalkers so they can't focus their firepower. He may be able to hold it off. He does snipe the Colossus. Again, not microed back as well as it could have been.
And some units, or some gateways becoming unpowered here. Probes coming off the line for Oz. Can he hold this?
Oh, beautiful surround.
Looks like he is going to hold this, and I am actually extremely impressed. I did not expect him to hold this.
GG.
He did not micro his Colossus as well as he needed to.
No.
There was actually no reason for him to chase up into the main at that point either. He could have continued to attack the natural and have his units in a better concave on the low ground, whereas Oz would have been trapped inside of his main. He would have killed the Nexus as many probes as he really wanted to. Could have waited for more reinforcements, and Sage really jumped the gun, was moving into that main base. Now we're tied up 1-1.
One apiece, indeed. And
there's Tassadar coming in there, and here's Choya coming to coach Oz. Of course, Choya, the coach of FX Open, but also a Protoss player himself.
Yeah. He's actually, a lot of people kind of bag on Choya. They're like, oh, he's kind of washed up and stuff. But from what I hear, he's actually like a really good player in team practice and stuff.
In team practice as well as on the ladder, he's actually done quite well. His MMR is really high. He likes to play macro games on the ladder. When he plays in tournaments, he does decide to do timing attacks often, most of the time. Play on ladder is not playing against the same caliber of opponents in the GSL, so I mean, obviously it's pretty apparent Choya does timing attacks in the GSL when he does end up qualifying and playing because, well, he doesn't practice as much because he's doing so many management duties and coaching.
But anyway, so we're going to go into game number 3. It's tied up, one apiece, and yes, that was kind of an interesting game where like both players did some things really well and really smart, and both players also did some things where they just kind of messed up. Like I couldn't believe that Dark Templar was attacking the Assimilator instead of the probes right then. That was a little bit sad to see, but then at the same time, Sage was like, all right, well, I'm just going to donate my Colossus, which is the heart of my army, and let you surround me with Blinkstalkers.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird that he decided to go into the main. There was no real advantage of doing that. In some cases, if your opponent's natural is already dead, you want to get into the main so he can't get a crucial amount of units out to defend. Like, while he's trying to warp in Stalkers, you attack them so they can take damage when you have the advantage. But anyway, we're going to take a 5-minute break, guys. We'll see you in 5.